It was only last year in March when Japan was shaken by its most powerful earthquake in recorded history, whose magnitude was 9.03. That's out of 10. That's out of 10. This earthquake triggered massive tsunami waves that reached over 130 feet in height and moved Honshu, the main island of Japan, 8 feet east and shifted the earth somewhere between 4 and 10 inches on its axis. There were over 15,000 deaths, and many were injured, and millions were left without electricity and water. More troubling is the fact that the tsunami, when it cut power, also cut power to the various nuclear power plants and flooded the backup generators, cutting power to the reactors, which soon began to overheat. Here I'm referring to the Fukushima Daiichi plant. By the time the government gave orders to flood the reactors with seawater, which was plenty of it was on hand, they hesitated because the seawater would damage the reactors permanently, and if they ever got the reactor, I think he's gonna explain it later. But three of the reactors later underwent a complete meltdown of the fuel rods, and small explosions broke out caused by leaking explosive hydrogen gas, and people in the 12-mile radius were evacuated. The now radioactive seawater used to cool the reactors was released into the oceans, and the nearby ground was also radioactive. The disaster released about a tenth of the radiation of Chernobyl, but it was enough for it to be a level 7, 7 being the highest on the scale of disaster. This is just an overview. There's more for that. I'd like to introduce you to Yamada, 73, who's a retired metal plant engineer. He has volunteered to work and organized others to work in the high radiation environment of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, so that younger workers don't have to be exposed to high doses of radiation. Mr. Yamada organized the SVCF, the Skilled Veterans Corps for Fukushima, to help with the decommissioning and decontamination process, a highly dangerous undertaking that will threaten the health and safety of younger workers immensely. The skilled veterans will take on those risks, as they are much older and less at risk of cancer from the radiation. Mr. Yamada is project manager, and he examined the management structure at TEPCO, the plant's operator, and the organization of the disaster response. He found it lacking in every respect, as there is no integrated project management for what is arguably the worst nuclear disaster in history, a disaster which is still ongoing, by the way, and reactors are still not under control and are continuously spewing enormous amounts of radioactivity into the air all day, every day. This radioactive poison circulates the globe in the jet stream and comes to rest on land all over the world. In Mr. Yamada's view, such a disaster needs international expertise brought to bear on it, wisdom, technology, and experienced personnel from all over the world, the best the world has to offer. Right now, the project is broken up into many small parts. There is no communication, no oversight from a central perspective. The workers are mostly untrained, recruited by multi-tiered layers of subcontractors, bringing the homeless, minors, the mentally handicapped, and debtors owing to the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. The Yakuza control many of these subcontractors and even influence some of TEPCO's decisions. Not only is there an ongoing, uncontrolled leakage of radiation, but there is the ever-present danger of a radiological fire if one of the pools of spent nuclear fuel should drain of water. The nuclear fuel will be exposed to air, catch fire, and melt down. The buildings housing the reactors have been badly damaged, and the next major earthquake could shatter them, destroying the fuel pools. There is enough uranium and plutonium in those pools that if they melt down, the worst-case scenario is the extinction of life on Earth. In Fuel Pool 4 alone, there are 2.6 tons, about 5,240 pounds of plutonium. It is stated by scientists that 1 pound, evenly dispersed, could kill everyone on Earth. The mainstream media has not reported on this story, for here in the U.S., there are many reasons, one of which is that the GE reactors, which were known to be defective before they were sold to Japan, are widely used here in the U.S. There are 23 operating today, and most are having problems. Another reason is that the U.S. nuclear industry is very much dependent on the continued use of nuclear energy by Japan and doesn't want any bad publicity. There is a connection between corporate interests and media in the US. It depends on the ownership of TV stations and newspapers. Mr. Yamada has examined this disaster in detail and is an engineer and has made plans to help to end this catastrophe. He needs our help. Please give him your full attention, and there will be a question and answer period after the talk. Mr. Yamada.